Hello, welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. So I didn't plan on making this video today, but I just had to because I just need to talk about Anne Rice. As we all know, she passed away this weekend, and it came as a great shock, I think, to all of us, because I follow her Facebook page, and hadn't read anything about her being sick or anything of it, but apparently she had a stroke. Her son, Christopher, posted this message on her Facebook page Sunday morning. Dearest people of Page, this is Anne's son, Christopher, and it breaks my heart to bring you this sad news. Earlier tonight, Anne passed away due to complications resulting from a stroke. She left us almost 19 years to the day my father, her husband Stan, died. The immensity of our family's grief cannot be overstated. As my mother, her support for me was unconditional. She taught me to embrace my dreams, reject conformity, sorry, I'm getting choked up, and challenge the dark voices of fear and self-doubt. As a writer, she taught me to defy genre boundaries and surrender to my obsessive passions. In her final hours, I sat beside her hospital bed in awe of her accomplishments and her courage, awash in memories of a life that took us from the fog-laced hills of the San Francisco Bay Area to the magical streets of New Orleans to the twinkling vistas of Southern California. As she kissed Anne goodbye, her younger sister Karen said, "What a ride you took us on, kid." I think we can all agree. Let us take comfort in the shared hope that Anne is now experiencing firsthand the glorious answers to many great spiritual and cosmic questions, the quest for which defined her life and career. Throughout much of her final years, your contributions to this page brought her much joy, along with a profound sense of friendship and community. Anne will be interred in our family's mausoleum at Metairie Cemetery in New Orleans in a private ceremony. Next year, a celebration of her life will take place in New Orleans. This event will be open to the public and will invite the participation of her friends, readers, and fans who brought her such joy and inspiration throughout her life. Sorry. Whew. So I read that when I was just about to go to Mass on Sunday morning. It was 7:30. I always related to Anne Rice a lot because for anyone who's raised Catholic, you kind of get that the saying, once a Catholic, always a Catholic. And I know Anne Rice vacillated throughout the faith in very intense ways and very passionate ways, and so have I. So have I, not to get too personal about it, but just recently I started going back to church, and I like to go to the early Mass, and surprisingly, a lot of people show up for an early Mass. Of course, we're in Advent and everything, but you'd be surprised at how many people are there. And it's always a lovely walk because my church is only a few blocks from my house, and it's just a nice time of kind of silent meditation as I walk this. It's about 5 or 6 blocks, and then when I'm about halfway there, the bells ring as a reminder that I need to pick up the pace a little bit. So I read that like right before I walked out the door. So as I'm walking down the street to the church, it was a beautiful morning. The sun was just rising over the river. It was like a purple, bluish pink sky. I just kept thinking about Anne Rice and what she's meant to me and to all of us as a great writer. And I know she's frustrated me. Her writing has frustrated me so many times, but because I'm always drawn back to it. It's hard to describe, but I think there were moments when I've experienced such incredible union with her words that I always want to go back to finding that, and sort of like the first high or something. And then when I can't get there, I get frustrated. But as I was walking to church, I was thinking, we can't expect a writer to, tick every box for us. Any artist, that's not their job, Like you don't get a Dan Brown plot with an Anne Rice novel. You just don't. So it's this lush, beautiful language that always brings me back to her work and makes me reread stuff that I've already read. And I don't know, I was just thinking about that. And as I got to the church, the sun was kind of passing through the stained glass windows, and this angel was lit up, and, you know, I just had a moment, I just had to share. I just had a moment, you know, just such a gift that she gave. And I think the lesson for me is like, share your gifts, you know, share your gifts. So yesterday I was thinking about her. Of course, I was online reading all these old articles and anything I could really get my hands on. And I found this article from the 90s from a newspaper in Buffalo, New York, which was a little odd, but it got into some of her Catholicism, and I wanted to share a little bit of that. Deeply steeped in florid Catholic mysticism, Rice is both embraced and rejected by the religion of her birth, a religion that squarely faces death, a Bible filled with violence. After all, even the Pope called Earth a planet of tombs. To some, Rice is truly Queen of the Damned, but she also reminds us of the mysteries that surrounded traditional Catholic thought. I grew up with a completely different feeling, she says. I was nourished on those stories of the saints and miracles. I really thought it was fine to write a book in which everybody was a vampire and they all talked about good and evil. Rice has explained, we don't run from the dead, we don't try to hide, and the saints we grew up with, St. Patrick, St. Joseph, St. Jude, the saints were all very real, very alive for us. She talks about the Catholics. People ask me, how can you write about such things? And I answer, how can I write about anything else? I grew up in a world where people believed in the miraculous. I mean, what about the saint who forgot to turn off the water and the angel came and turned off the water for him and the faucet turned to gold? Life seems at times to be almost unbearable, Rice observes. It's just 1 inch from horrible. The amount of pain, the amount of waste, the amount of loss, the amount of destruction, the chaos, everything. And I think that's like a vision always right near me. And I write and I see my family and I follow my obsessions and I explore what I have to explore to fight that. I seek for the truth and the instruments of the spellbinder, she says. I've always been a writer of massive tomes, lured into cosmic themes. And when it comes Anne Rice's turn to pass into that great beyond, will she choose burial or cremation? Rice retorts with a cackle, eyes glimmering like hot coals, I don't intend to die. So I just had to share that. And I also want to share my Anne Rice books from my library for you to take a look. And I'll do close-ups of all of them. This is a great paperback version of Interview with the Vampire. It's so fun. And I love the back cover with Lestat, Claudia, and Lewis. And I also forgot to mention, I mean, my God, she brought us Lestat. I mean, you know, that alone is an incredible accomplishment. The Vampire Lestat, this is, I think, book 2 in the Vampire Chronicles. I liked this one. This is a great Vampire Lestat graphic novel that's fun. I found this, I think, in some bookstore, and I was really happy to get it. This one weighs a ton. It must be 5 pounds, but this is a compilation of, I think, yeah, the first 3 books through Queen of the Damned. I've read some of this, but the print in these are very small. So this was the last book I read. I think I read this in the summer, Queen of the Damned, and even though it frustrated me, I still gave it 3 stars because I love her writing. I love the way she writes. And there's some parts in that book that were just mesmerizing, and it was just the entire thing kind of didn't gel, but like I said, I need to maybe let go of that a little bit. I'm ready to let go. This one I haven't read. This is a first edition signed copy. Here's her signature. I don't know if you can see it. So I will be reading this one. In fact, you know, once I heard that Anne Rice had passed away, I thought, okay, I'm going to just put everything that I'm reading away and just read Anne Rice. But I think I am going to just continue with my TBR for December. But, geez, I just wanted to read more. This is MEMNOCH, the Devil. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It's part of the Vampire Chronicles. Have not read that one. This is the Mayfair Witches Reader's Companion, which I was very happy to find in a used bookstore. I think last year I picked this up. And I've actually used this. When I was reading Lasher again, I used this as like a reference. It helps. And the Vampire Chronicles and the Mayfair Witches do cross over in Queen of the Damned. That was pretty cool. This one, you know, maybe I'll just read this one. This is called Angel Time. It's a short little book I found in one of those little libraries. I'm going to add this one to my December TBR because it's short. Here it is, Lasher. I read this again in the last year, and again, it was a frustrating read, but why did I read it twice? Here's another short one that I could read, Pandora, which I think is part of the Vampire Chronicles. Here's my favorite. This is The Witching Hour. This is the book that totally bewitched me. If you want to read about New Orleans, read The Witching Hour, the whole series, but especially this book. It goes into such incredible detail about the houses and the garden district. It's just unbelievable. And I was lucky enough that I've been to New Orleans, and I actually went up to, as a tourist, went up to her house, to take pictures by the gate, which I don't know if she was living there at the time. This was in the 90s, so she might have been there at that time. And it's stunning, absolutely stunning, and just awe-inspiring. And I know that she had another house in the garden district, which was her old school, I believe, her old boarding school that she purchased, filled with her doll collection. Like, she had this massive doll collection. Wow, what a life, and what a success, It's incredible. And what an incredible role model for all women writers. Here is A Servant of the Bones. I've not read this one. And this is book 3 in The Witching Hour, and I did like this book. This is TALTOS. This introduced some other characters that I found really interesting. I will probably keep reading this one. In fact, I'm going to add that one to my stack and reread that. And then keep going with the Vampire Chronicles because, oh my gosh. I don't know, I just needed to share. Thanks for listening. I just want to end the video on a positive note. I got a lovely Christmas card from my dear friend, E.D. Lewis. I know he was an Anne Rice fan too, and I know he's feeling it, but this will cheer me up a little bit. Let's see. And Edie, if you're watching, I'm sending you one too. You should be getting your card very soon from me and Batilda and Lily. Merry Christmas. Lovely. The best of wishes to you and yours for a wonderful holiday season. So here's what Edie wrote. Hope your holiday season is full of joy and happy times. Had a great time with our buddy read and look forward to the next. I had a great time with our buddy read too. Maybe we can read an Anne Rice book for the new year. Think about that and which one you would like to read. I'll be in touch because I think that would be a great idea. May the new year bring you and yours lots of success and wonderful memories. Happy holidays, your friend, E.D. P.S. Looking forward to seeing Batilda's adventures with her new beau. Oh yeah, we have to get that going again. So anyway, I just wanted to share. Thanks for listening. And if you have any of your favorite Anne Rice stories, please put them in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Well, that's all I have for today. Thanks for stopping by my haunted library, and I'll see you soon. Bye.